In today's video, I want to give you guys a heads up on how you can get an awesome iOS game free right now over on the Apple App Store. You can get Supergiant Games' excellent Bastion for free. We'll talk all about that, give you guys a little bit of an insight on the game and all that good stuff. War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius has gotten the 4th game overview trailer. That is a hotly anticipated title, so we'll talk all about that. Apple Arcade has also gotten 5 more games, and you can check those out right now. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first up, if you guys are unaware, you can get Bastion for free right now over on the iOS store. Guys, Bastion is a tremendous game. If you are unfamiliar with Supergiant Games, they have done some excellent games including Transistor, Pyre, and their very first title was Bastion, and you can very well make the argument that this is their best game that they've done. It is an excellent action RPG. The player character, the Kid, moves through floating fantasy-themed environments that form paths as the player approaches the edge. Levels consist of a single plane and are viewed isometrically. Visually, it is a stunning game. I cannot say enough good things about the visuals of this game. It's got this watercolor art style that is fantastic, and throughout the game, you'll discover the secrets of the Calamity, a surreal catastrophe that shattered the world to pieces. The game was received incredibly well from critics and consumers alike, heralded as one of the best indie games of all time. IGN gave the title a 9 out of 10, Wired gave it a 9 out of 10. Again, an action RPG that redefines storytelling in games with a reactive narrator who marks your every move. Explore more than 40 lush, hand-painted environments as you discover the secrets of the Calamity, a surreal catastrophe that shattered the world to pieces. Wield a huge arsenal of upgradable weapons and battle savage beasts adapted to their new habitat. Finish the main story to unlock the New Game Plus mode and continue your journey. You've got stunning hand-painted artwork, a critically acclaimed original music score, north of 10 unique upgradable weapons to be used, 6 powerful Bastion structures to be discovered, New Game Plus and Score Attack, no sweat mode, and hours of reactive narration delivers a deeper story. Again, can't say enough good things about it. And over on the iOS store, you can download Bastion for free right now, and then the full game unlock is free as well. So good to get this right now. This one has a 4.4 out of 5 right now. That's based off of 44 user reviews. Fantastic game. Give it a look. And by the way, Supergiant Games' other title, Transistor, is also available on the App Store. That's available for $4.99. First up, check out Bastion. You'll probably like the game enough, and I imagine a lot of you guys, if you play titles on other platforms, you've checked Bastion on some platform in the past, given that it's been released on just about everything. Excellent game, and really good to have it on the go as well on your phone or iOS device. Alright, so that's available free right now, so give that a look. Also, War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius has gotten its 4th game overview trailer. Square Enix has released the 4th game overview trailer for War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. The trailer, narrated by Heroine Machiray, voice actor Lyn, introduces the strategy RPG's guilds, duels, and chocobos. War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is planned for release on iOS and Android devices on November 14th in Japan as a free-to-play title with in-app purchases. A Western release is also planned, although it hasn't been clarified as far as when that's going to be released. Definitely got some Final Fantasy Tactics vibe here, and I have to say, visually, it looks quite good. For a free-to-play downloadable title on iOS, this one visually looks quite good, and I do think it has a lot of potential given the success of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I imagine that this is also going to be one that a lot of people are checking out right away, especially as a free-to-play title. The game itself has the story take place on the continent of Ardora on the world of Lapis, the primary setting of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and depicts a war between the 5 rival nations that occurred in the distant past. As in the original title, the war is waged using the power of visions, physical manifestations of powerful warriors from different eras and worlds summoned using crystals. War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius was originally announced back in 2018 at the Final Fantasy Fan Fest, a convention celebrating the original title's 3rd anniversary, and unlike with the original Brave Exvius, which was developed by Gumi subsidiary Alum and published by Square Enix, War of the Visions is being co-developed by Square Enix and Gumi. The 2 Brave Exvius titles will be developed and operate in parallel, so that's rather interesting as well. The game itself draws references and inspiration from Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions for its story. That is the original Final Fantasy Tactics title, and is expected to feature similar gameplay while implementing a gacha system as a free-to-play title. That makes sense. The continent of Ardora is referenced in Brave Exvius and was depicted on the game game's original world map, but is currently inaccessible and obscured by clouds. Always like when they hint at other areas of a game and then they parlay that into successes with other games. I think that's always rather interesting. The game's dialogue will also be fully voice acted, and the global release is planned to have dual audio language voiceovers. A lot to digest out of this one. It is coming November 14th over in Japan. I really hope that a stateside release is being planned for a relatively soon release. I would imagine that this would probably be an early 2020 title. Whatever the case may be, War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is definitely going to be one of the standouts on iOS, and hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. Lastly, I do want to give you guys an in-depth update on Apple Arcade. It has 5 more games to check out today, the most high profile of which is Yaga, a brand new action RPG, and I am incredibly excited about that one. Yaga is a game that's been going a little bit under the radar. Maybe you haven't heard about it, however, it looks very, very good. It's an action RPG with a charming narrative that adapts to your choices, set in the world of Slavic folklore. Play as Ivan, a one-handed blacksmith cursed with incredibly bad luck. Ivan is caught between Asara, giving him impossible attacks, and mysterious witch who wants to manipulate him, and his grandma who wants him to find a wife. Start your journey in an action RPG where the story and characters react to the way you roleplay your character. Building a reputation through roleplaying results in different interactions with villagers and NPCs, unlocking secrets, trading options, or bestowing game-changing curses or blessings upon the character. Pagan beliefs and superstitions are key to unlocking hidden secrets, getting house spirits on your side, or avoiding powerful curses of unclean creatures. Fateful crossroads between levels allow players to influence the difficulty, challenge, and level generation of the game. Discover and combine lots of talismans and artifacts that change the player's abilities and the gameplay. Craft and upgrade an arsenal of weapons and tools to aid you in your journey, and there's also a unique soundtrack featuring underground folklore band Subcaparty. Again, that's a part of Apple Arcade right now. Looks like a great game, and excited for that to also come to Apple Arcade. Other titles being added: Lifelike Chapter 1 pitches itself as a particle symphony. It's kind of like an abstract art installation about an animal's swarming behaviors. A lot to digest out of this one. Really cool art style out of this one as well. And this is the title I think is perfect in Apple Arcade, a game that I don't think a lot of people would check out otherwise, but as in addition to Apple Arcade, might be a quirky little title to check out. Next up, we have Hogwash, a 3-on-1 game where pigs try to roll around in the mud and dirty up a farmstead while a sprinkler-wielding farmer tries to tie them down and keep them in the place from getting too messy. It was noted it's not the easiest thing in the world with touch controls, and it's more of a passing novelty by Destructoid. However, a quirky and charming little title to be added to the library as well. For you guys that love Mega Man, how about Fallen Knight? Fallen Knight is going for a Mega Man Zero feel on a bit of a budget. A side-scrolling action platformer definitely gives you that old-school Mega Man feel, so definitely excited to see this one being added to Apple Arcade. And as a futuristic knight, you can dash up walls, slash and parry foes from a terrorist organization called the Purge, and take on bosses. It's not anything we haven't seen before in the genre, but considering it's only one of the many games in the wilder Apple Arcade library, it's perfect with adding just a game that could be seen as just an okay title. It's not an asking price of like $4.99 or $9.99 or anything like that. If you like Mega Man, if you want something to pass the time on iOS, Fallen Knight as an Apple Arcade title I think is fantastic. And lastly, we have Tales of Memo, a memory puzzle game rounds out the lineup. Rather interesting and charming game as here accompany Mimo and his friends on an epic journey through a frozen landscape, battling enemies in exciting memory puzzles. Not a lot is noted about the game, but visually it looks quite good. Looks like a relatively charming game, and again, as a puzzle game added to Apple Arcade, we've got a lot of variety in the offerings being added to Apple Arcade, whether it be an action RPG in Yaga that is a little bit more higher end, Lifelike Chapter 1, a particle symphony, Hogwash that is a charming multiplayer title, Fallen Knight for you guys that dig Mega Man and want something of a similar feel to that, Tales of Mimo for a more puzzle-based experience. A lot of variety in the offerings being added to Apple Arcade, and that's always exciting. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, for those of you guys with an iOS platform, you definitely want to check out the free copy of Bastion that's available right now. Bastion is a phenomenal game, and I'd highly recommend you to play it. It is a great game from art style, gameplay, soundtrack, and I could go on and on about the game, and I could gush for days. However, I don't want to bore you guys with that. War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius has gotten its 4th game overview trailer. That is very exciting, as that could be one of the standout titles on iOS when that does drop again November 14th over in Japan. Hopefully it does come stateside sometime in early 2020, as I do think that that's going to be a standout and one title that a lot of people are going to check out. And Apple Arcade has made its lineup even more compelling with the addition of 5 new titles. Again, the action RPG Yaga, Lifelike Chapter 1, Hogwash, a 3-on-1 multiplayer title, Fallen Knight going for something of a Mega Man feel, and Tales of Mimo Primo, a memory puzzle game, round out the group. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.